Managing Microsoft 365 environments shouldn't feel like you're juggling blindfolded. Meet Recon AI, your unified command center for IT management. As an IT administrator, you're constantly switching between portals, such as Entra ID, Intune, Defender, Log Analytics, Microsoft Admin Center. You're looking for different configurations, different security postures, different compliance requirements. It's time-consuming, error-prone, and quite frankly, can be exhausting. Recon AI brings everything together in one elegant portal. One login, every critical metric at your fingertips. It is a single pane of glass for your Microsoft 365 environment, providing real-time data from Microsoft Graph API and log analytics. It's got AI capabilities for security insights and recommendations, and it has complete visibility into your license utilization and tracking. Let's jump over to the Entra ID users page. As you can see, we have summary statistics at the top, cloud synced, on-prem identities, guest profile usage. We can scroll down here and we can get a view of a table where we can look up certain users. We can export the user list. If we were wanting to disable users or delete users, we can download the PowerShell script and use the export as an input. From this blade, we can get all the Entra ID properties. We can also get groups that they're a member of and distribution lists without going to any other management portal. Moving on to Entra ID devices, this is an aggregate of Intune managed device data and Entra device data. We can see what percentage is managed by Intune. We can see device activity, some pretty cool analytics at the top. If we scroll down, we get a similar table that was on the users where we can filter, carve out our machines as desired. So if we wanted to look for machines that have not logged in more than 90 days, we can click that filter button, export the CSV, and then we could download the disable devices script and use that export as an input. If we're looking for information on this portal about the Entra or Intune device information, we can simply click the details of the device and we get an aggregate of the information. Scroll down, we can see security groups that the device is a member of. Moving on to licenses, we can get a full license view, including how many total licenses we have, how many are used, how many are available. That we wanted to look at the details of the license, such as who's got our Intune license, we can take a look at the details slide out and see who's consuming our Intune license. If you have Intune in your environment, you can see the list of inventoried apps down here and the number of installs that the app has registered to it. So we can come down here, expand the application, and from here we can get a full software list from Intune on the device. We can get information on the user that's associated to the device, or we can get the device details, all in one pane of glass. This is also exportable, so you can filter by the software name, publisher, and then export the list of software as desired. Moving over to the security page, we can see things like your security posture from Microsoft at a glance. We can see information on your secure score, conditional access, risky users, MFA coverage, security defaults within the tenant, PIM activations in the last 24 hours, and your risk level distribution, MFA registrations, risky users, the risk level that they're currently at, some more information about conditional access policies and the security baselines, all in the same portal. If we move over to the logs portion, we have a bunch of predefined log analytics query. So we can click the button, the quick shortcut button, and we can run the query to get information about the log analytics data underneath it. You can also edit the log analytics data directly. Inside of Intune, we have Endpoint Analytics. Endpoint Analytics gives you the user experience for performance, application reliability, and work from anywhere metrics that Intune collects. So things like startup performance, your average boot time across your environment, work from anywhere scores, or your application reliability. Visualizing this data, you can see where your efforts should be spent in troubleshooting applications such as 3 crashes from Edge, 12 crashes from Google Chrome, And scrolling down, we can look at the laptops with the slowest startup performance. Additionally, If you've downloaded and installed the AD collector, you can run our PowerShell scripts on premise that write to Azure Blob Storage and writes a bunch of JSON files after running a discovery. And this discovery runs nightly or whatever interval you set. We look at things like replication health, DNS health, and the DC diag tests that we run. We have some information about users, groups, servers, and stale users. And scrolling down, we can get all the details from replication to DC diag to DNS zones that are replicated, group policies, user environment information, and server information. One of the things to note about the server information is it tells you if it's supported or not. So you could easily come down here and search for the end-of-life servers, export the list, and hand it to your team to start the upgrade process. Similarly, we did a CM collector for MECM, giving us insights into our SCCM or MECM environment from Recon without having to switch portals. Visualizing this data, we can see that 97% of our devices are managed in MECM, our servers are all managed, and our workstations have one inactive client that is not being managed. We get deployment status, software update status, update compliance, client activity, some information about our infrastructure, so our primary site server and the version, our SQL server and the version, database sizes. We keep scrolling down, we can get devices, updates, software update groups, deployment information, software inventory information from SCCM. So if you're looking for software that's installed on SCCM, no more writing complex queries or reports, you can simply find the software, expand it, and get the details, and then you can export it as a CSV. We get Windows 11 readiness if that's still needed in your environment, and operating system deployment analytics. Inside of our managed services, we have developed a custom UEM database to track things like average build time across task sequences. Using that data, we can pull this information into Recon AI and take a look at whether it's a Pixie or a client build. We can see what's failed, we can see the date and time, and the length of time that it took to actually build the environment. Moving over to the security recommendations page, we're going to generate security recommendations based on statistical data that has been scrubbed of PII or identifiable information altogether and send it to our Azure AI configured ChatGPT instance. Based on the security recommendations, we're going to get a list that is prioritized based on counts of data that we have sent over to AI. So counts would be number of users that have not logged in. There is no identifiable information being sent over to the AI agent at this point. Out of that, we get things like a priority, what the issue is, what the risk is, what the user impact is, an action, and a benefit, all from the AI summary. And this AI summary can be exported. We'll take a look at it. And so this report can be leveraged for a multitude of things in the environment. Scrolling down, we get additional information about the checks that it was doing. So authentication and security, we can see that we have users signing in without MFA, application consent issues, conditional access issues. And we scroll down further, we can get more details. In the AI chat portion, this is a custom AI agent that you can bring. This can be housed inside of your Azure AI Foundry. All we need is the API key and the information, and then we can start asking information. We can either type in a question or we can use one of the pre-configured. So we can look at the failed logins in the last 24 hours. So rather than going and carving up analytics, we can say how many failed logins have we had in the last 24 hours? And there's been 0. So the way we've configured this is we're using AI tools that are available. There's no question you can't ask it about the data that you have. Let's get a license usage. And there it provides me a license table. So what makes Recon AI different from other tools? Unified management, all of your Microsoft 365 data in one intuitive interface. We have a privacy-first model, so our Azure OpenAI generates actionable security recommendations using only aggregated statistics, never PII or PHI. We have 15 plus specialized tools letting AI query users, devices, licenses, security data, AD health, config man data, and log analytics on demand. We have direct integration with Microsoft Graph API and log analytics. We have complete visibility into applications across your entire device fleet, device performance, app health, work from anywhere insights, monitor deployment profiles and enrollment status at a glance. You can track utilizations across all your licenses to identify waste and plan for budgets. There's ready-to-use PowerShell scripts with built-in safety confirmations for AD on-premise, Entra ID users, and Entra ID devices. We're using Azure's Web Application Gateway with WAF and private endpoints for security. And we have a lot of flexible featured toggles and data sources to configure for your individual needs. Unlike the Microsoft portals, Recon AI unifies everything into one view. The AI doesn't just answer questions, it actively queries your environment with 15 plus tools. So in closing, I would encourage you to stop managing Microsoft 365 the hard way. Use Recon AI because your time is better spent solving the problems, not finding them. If you're ready to see it in action, schedule a demo today.